There's something I've carried in my heart for a long time, and I don't know if today is the perfect day to say it or if there ever really is a perfect moment. Maybe some truths simply become too heavy to keep hidden. Maybe some feelings eventually find their own voice, no matter how deeply we try to bury them. Whatever the reason, I felt compelled to write to you because you deserve honesty, and you deserve to know what has been living inside my heart. I don't know exactly how you'll feel after reading this. You might be surprised. You might be emotional. You might have questions. You might even need time to process everything. I understand all of that. My only hope is that you read every word knowing it comes from a place of sincerity. Life has a strange way of bringing hidden things into the light. Sometimes people spend months or even years pretending everything is fine while carrying guilt, regret, or emotions they never had the courage to express. Eventually, silence becomes louder than words. Eventually, the truth begins asking to be heard. I have often wondered if you ever sensed that there was more beneath the surface than what I showed you. Maybe you noticed moments when my smile didn't quite reach my eyes. Maybe you noticed the hesitation in my words or the way I avoided certain conversations. It wasn't because I didn't care. In fact, it was because I cared far more than I ever admitted, looking back now. I realized that fear controlled many of my decisions. Fear of rejection. Fear of vulnerability. Fear that if I revealed my heart completely, I would lose someone who meant the world to me. Ironically, trying to protect myself only created more distance between us. There were times when I failed you. Times when I should have spoken but remained silent. Times when I should have stood beside you but allowed confusion or pride to get in the way. If any of those moments caused you pain, I carry genuine regret for them. I cannot erase yesterday, but I can choose honesty today. I have learned that love is not proven by perfect words or flawless actions. Love is revealed in accountability. It is revealed when someone stops making excuses and begins accepting responsibility. It is revealed when someone chooses truth, even if that truth is uncomfortable. So here I am, choosing truth. There are things I wish I had handled differently. There are conversations I replay in my mind. There are moments where I imagine saying everything I should have said instead of walking away. I know imagination cannot rewrite history, but reflection can change the future. You deserved consistency, you deserved reassurance, you deserved honesty, you deserved someone brave enough to communicate instead of expecting you to read between the lines. If I failed to be that person, I am deeply sorry. Over time I began to understand something important. The people we love are never truly asking us to be perfect. They simply hope we'll be genuine. They hope we'll tell the truth before silence creates unnecessary distance. They hope we'll admit our mistakes before pride destroys what could still be healed. That's why I'm writing this now, not because someone forced me, not because I expect anything in return, not because I believe I deserve another chance, but because truth matters. And because you matter. There were countless nights when I thought about reaching out. I would type a message, stare at the screen, then erase every word. I convinced myself it was too late. I convinced myself you had already moved on. I convinced myself that my silence was somehow protecting both of us. It wasn't. Silence only allowed misunderstandings to grow. Silence gave fear more power. Silence became a wall neither of us deserved. If I've learned anything, it's that love cannot survive where honesty is absent. Even the strongest connection becomes fragile when people stop sharing what lives inside their hearts. Today I refuse to let fear make another decision for me. You deserve to know that I have spent a great deal of time reflecting on everything that happened between us. Reflection has a way of humbling a person. It strips away excuses and leaves only the truth. The truth is that I cared more deeply than I ever admitted. The truth is that I made mistakes. The truth is that I hurt someone I never wanted to hurt. The truth is that regret teaches lessons pride never could. If you've ever questioned your worth because of something that happened between us, I hope you never carry that burden again. Your value has never depended on another person's ability to appreciate you correctly. You have always deserved honesty. You have always deserved respect. You have always deserved to be loved with patience and sincerity. Whether life gives us another chapter together or not, I wanted these words to exist. I wanted you to know that your kindness was never unnoticed. Your patience was never taken for granted. Your presence left a mark on my life that time has not erased. Sometimes people come into our lives to change us forever. Sometimes they become our greatest lesson. Sometimes they become both. You became both for me. You taught me that vulnerability is not weakness. You taught me that genuine love requires courage. You taught me that avoiding difficult conversations only creates deeper wounds. Those lessons came at a cost, and I wish I had learned them sooner. I don't expect forgiveness simply because I've apologized. Forgiveness is a gift. Trust is earned. Healing takes time. I respect whatever you choose. If your heart needs distance, I understand. If your heart has questions, I understand. If your heart chooses peace without me, I understand. My purpose isn't to pressure you. My purpose is simply to honor the truth that should have been spoken long ago. No matter where life leads us, I sincerely hope you continue finding reasons to smile. I hope people recognize the beautiful qualities that make you who you are. I hope you're surrounded by people who celebrate your heart instead of taking it for granted. You deserve that, and if one day you think about me, I hope you remember not only my mistakes but also the moments that made us laugh, the conversations that brought comfort, and the hope we once shared. Those memories remain meaningful to me. Thank you for every moment you gave me. Thank you for every lesson. Thank you for every act of kindness. Thank you for being part of my story. Whatever tomorrow brings, I hope today brings a little more understanding than yesterday did. Take care of your heart. Protect your peace. Never settle for less than the love you deserve. And never doubt that honesty, even when delayed, still has the power to begin healing. With sincerity. Someone who finally found the courage to tell the truth. Take this as a letter meant for the heart, not as a promise of what tomorrow will bring, but as a reminder that truth has a way of finding its own voice. There are moments in life when silence feels louder than words. You can sense that something has been left unsaid. That somewhere behind the smiles, the distance, the excuses, or the long pauses, a story has remained hidden. Maybe you've carried questions that never received answers. Maybe you've wondered why someone suddenly changed, why they walked away, why they treated you in a way that never matched the kindness you gave them. Sometimes the people who hurt us spend more time remembering what they did than we realize. Regret has a way of lingering. It follows people into quiet nights and lonely mornings. It reminds them of conversations they wish they had handled differently and hearts they never should have broken. While you may have been trying to heal, they may have been trying to outrun the memory of the pain they caused. If you've been waiting for closure, remember this: closure doesn't always arrive in the form of an apology. Sometimes it comes through your own strength, your own growth, and your decision to keep moving forward even when no explanation ever comes. But every once in a while, life surprises us. Every once in a while, the truth that has been buried begins to rise to the surface. Imagine, for just a moment, that someone has been carrying a weight they can no longer ignore. Imagine that every excuse they once believed has slowly fallen apart. Imagine that the person who once convinced themselves they were right has finally found the courage to admit they were wrong, if that moment ever comes. Listen with wisdom rather than anger. Listen without forgetting your worth. Listen without feeling obligated to erase the pain they caused. Their confession cannot rewrite your past, but it may explain parts of it. Their honesty cannot return the days you spent questioning yourself, but it may remind you that your intuition was never as broken as you feared. You deserved honesty from the very beginning. You deserved respect when your heart was open. You deserved loyalty when you offered trust. If someone failed to give you those things, that failure belongs to them, not to you. Please don't measure your value by someone else's mistakes. Don't spend another day wondering whether you were enough. The truth is that people often hurt others because they are struggling with fears, insecurities, selfishness, or unresolved pain that has nothing to do with the person standing in front of them. That doesn't excuse what they did, but it does explain why their actions never defined your worth. You have survived conversations that broke your heart. You have walked away from nights when your tears were your only companion. You have smiled through days when nobody knew how much you were carrying inside. That kind of strength changes a person. It teaches you that your peace is too valuable to hand over to anyone who treats it carelessly.